My name is Rod Cantu, born and raised here in San Antonio, so San Antonio is home for me. I come from a family of 6. I see this as a place that offers a lot to our citizens, like it's a small town feels. Just the respect of the Mexican-American culture, the food, it's authentic. It's just a great place to raise a family. So I have two kids in their 20s, enjoyed the education system here in San Antonio. Some of the things that I dislike about the city of San Antonio are, for example, our traffic, right? As we continue to grow, we're constantly looking for ways to maximize the traffic flow. The revitalization of the west side. I was born and raised here in the west side of San Antonio, and bring new business, new families into that area. Also the equity in our school districts. I feel sometimes that there's inequity in terms of funding or just the level of our teachers, our professors, our just education system in the different districts. One other opportunity that I see the city is ability to attract high-tech jobs and high-paying jobs for graduates. The city should think about, as we continue to grow, some of the things that we should consider are, again, looking at our infrastructure as we include more, for example, hybrid vehicles, looking at just our services, in terms of police, EMS, fire. How do we best position those services to support such a large city? I think just overall renewable resources. So we know that solar, wind, things of that nature. How do we continue to expand on that? Because we do know that at peak times, we do put a stress on our current infrastructure, our current grid. One of the things that I consider, just the way that DFW Metroplex area up north with all those cities and moving a lot of people and traffic and vehicles on a daily basis, I see 10, 15, 20 years from now where San Antonio, Austin corridor is going to be very similar. And so one of the things is how do we start planning for that type of commute, whether it's rail or different types of transportation. I have friends that live in Austin, South Austin, and commute to San Antonio at times, and of course they always complain about the traffic on 35. So just ways to continue to look at collaborating and figuring out, identifying methods and ways of making that feasible for commuters, because I see us growing to become that type of metroplex, especially with New Braunfels and even to Austin.
My name is Brandon Rodriguez. I was born in Houston, but I lived in San Antonio all my life, so for 35 years. What I love about San Antonio is that we are a diverse city. We are a community that takes care of one another. Granted, we are the 7th largest city in the nation. It's a very small town kind of feel. What I dislike about San Antonio is the socioeconomic inequalities, the haves and have-nots, and specifically wage inequalities in our community. There's also the issue with mass transit, right? There's a lot of people that we really need that mass transit, but because of their wages and stuff, it's really hard for them. In a growing city in San Antonio, 3 things stand out to me. As a mom of a toddler, I value early education. So I think we should be focused on making sure that we have quality childcare for our children and making sure that our children are ready for school. As a mom as a teenager, I think we as a city need to look at improving high school graduation rates as well as improving our college and career readiness. I'm also concerned with our ALICE, which is Asset Limited, Income Constrained, Employed Population. There's too many people in San Antonio that are living paycheck to paycheck, and they can't cover everyday expenses from housing, transportation, or childcare, let alone anytime an emergency may happen. I think the city of San Antonio can look at the betterment for all of everyone that's here, looking at housing, education, mass transit, and our local workforce.
Welcome everyone to the City of the Future. We're excited to have you here. We're excited to have, we thought no better way to open this inaugural conference with 2 residents here who care deeply about this community. If you saw the first slide of this show, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And what I've learned working with Paula, the city, and all the stakeholders here in this room is this is a community that wants to go far, and they're willing to do the work to go really far as a city and take all residents with them. So we're here to applaud the work they've done, but also come together to see how far we can go and learn from each other learn from the visitors and the experts we're bringing in over the next 2 days to continue to make those strides forward. So we're here to roll our sleeves up, talk about key issues and tough issues. And I want to thank our partner here, Paula, for helping us put all this together and bring everyone together. And with that, I just want to open here with, you grew up in San Antonio, been here all your life, you've seen the transition. So just like as we asked Rod and Robin there, what are some of the things you admire and love about this city?
Well, what I really love about San Antonio is I often say we're 2 degrees of separation here. And I get corrected really fast, and they said, no, we're 1 or 0. Almost 1.5 million people. It takes a little bit. But I know I often go somewhere, and I've met someone who knows someone I know. And I was born here. My dad was in the military, and we traveled. And I had grown up quite a bit. I went to Okinawa, and I grew up 2 terms in Maryland, Alaska. And I had an East Coast feel when I came back home. I was a teenager. And when I first came back, I was going to school, and I thought that San Antonians were nosy. Because when you have an East Coast thing, people are like, they just kind of like talk to the hand. You can't ask a bunch of questions. You're probing. They give you the slant eye. And I remember people ask me a bunch of questions. Where are you from? Who are your people? These are the things that I need to know. That's a joke for my husband, because we're always listening to and watching movies and quoting them. And I just didn't get it. And I was also, being from the military, used to moving around. Like every 3 years you moved around. And I remember being here my first 3 years, and I was ready to go. I'm like, the San Antonio thing is okay. I know I'm from here. But Dad, I'm ready to move. And my dad said, sorry, dear, we are retired, or he is retired, and we are not moving. But right as I got to about the 3rd year, and then every day since, I figured out what I was missing. And what I was missing is San Antonians ask a lot of questions because they really want to get to know you. It's important, and it builds this connection. And when you're in high school, you worry about what school you went to. We went to Sam Houston, and there's Highlands and Fox Tech, and there was rivalry. But now, when you run into people and you say, what high school did you go to? And somebody says they went to Fox Tech and you went to Sam Houston, you're like, oh, that's awesome. The things that separate us here are actually the things that pull us together. And I've been around places all my life doing different cities and different places in the world. But this is special because we embrace. That is our thing. We embrace, we share, we eat a lot, we love food. We love sharing food. That's kind of the bad thing. But that's been special here. Now, I grew up here. And I grew up on the east side of town, went to Sam Houston, and I remember as a kid not really understanding how big the world, even though I had been dependent in the military, when I came here, the north side of town seemed far. I remember we got dressed up in our good clothes to go shopping at North Star Mall, because we thought that was like a major trip across town. And we almost packed a lunch. And it did seem far away. But now, as I think about San Antonio, it is growing and growing and growing and growing. The interesting thing is we are now at a place where we can redefine our city with technology. We're at a place where we can bring our city forward and apply it to energy and apply it to the way that we want to live. And there is no place that is beyond our boundaries. We're huge, but we're connected. And we have this real opportunity to do a lot of things. I mean, the video showed a lot of things that we could do to help everyone. Technology is going to help us do that. And I'm just really proud to be a San Antonian. I'm really proud to be able to have great partners like Z-Prime. I have wonderful team members here from CPS Energy. We're all infiltrated in the audience. We have a board member that's going to show up later on today. And And importantly, the important thing is partnering. Because we can't do it alone. We actually have to do it together. We are an energy company that provides service, and we need to be enabled by our partners to help us tell stories, find solutions, use technology, look at things from across the globe, think global, and apply it local. And so I'm really excited about today and our opportunity to talk about those tough ways to do that and move forward.
Thank you, Paula. Yeah. I think one of the anecdotes that you said it was in partnering is so crucial, and there's several great partners that you'll see on the slides there, and I want to thank all of them that are here today. They're out in the hall. Stop by, talk to them. Most of them live here, have someone based here, so this isn't just about, hey, let's come and try to find a solution for solution's sake. This is how do I build my community and make my residents better off. So to all of our partners, definitely thank you. We couldn't have done this without you. So with that, what I've seen a lot is that you guys like to listen a whole lot. We like to, I think this is, we have this platform to have this discussion, but what has listening, how has that been a strategic advantage for you guys, not just at CPS Energy, but for the city as a whole? Good friend Jonathan Tijerina, when I talk, he's always at some type of public input session. So listening does it start there?
It is a core value for us to listen. We've been in business for 158 years, and we're really good at traditional energy solutions. We are getting better and better at new technology. But you can do all that. The most important thing is to listen to customers, to listen to people, and to figure out how they want to utilize their technology and how they want to be enabled to raise their families and build the better San Antonio. So we have public input sessions, we have outreach, we have focus groups. We actually send many of our leaders across San Antonio to go to chamber meetings, neighborhood associations, schools, anything that we can do where we can inform, but actually sit back and listen. And when you're in a city that you serve 1.5 million people, which we expect to project to grow to 2.5 million people in a fairly short period of time, we know that we have to think about how we're going to change and how do we meet those expectations, but listening to customers is kind of our beacon to do that. So the only other thing I would say is, that said, so Jason said to me, he goes, these are going to be really good videos, but they're going to kind of criticize a little bit. Everything is not rosy, and everything is not perfect. I am proud. I think I see Doug Melnick in the back. I caught you, right? You knew I was going to call you out, right? Doug is leading an effort. He's the Chief Sustainability Officer for the city. And he really is thinking forward in terms of our solution set with a focus on environmental. The challenge is we listen, and right now we are at, I think, the foothill of trying to solve problems. We're trying to figure out how to do all of these things that are better for the environment, do it affordably, so that we can also have enough allocation to do a lot of other things using technology and keep it all in balance. So right now, CPS Energy is listening as much as it can to help ultimately fuel all of these solution sets that actually will take decades. Now, the only real challenge is to keep everybody calm, because we're passionate about our ideas, and we worry that we're not being heard. And that's why we play in this role to be great listeners and enable it and make people feel like we are paying attention. And we are. We register every single comment we get.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Paula. So with that, I know we're running a little behind, so I did want to ask, being a lifetime resident, where's your favorite place to go in San Antonio?
Oh, my favorite place to go?
Where's your favorite place to go? And for the folks visiting from out of town, if you had to recommend one place or restaurant near.
Oh.
Put you on the spot.
You know how many chefs I know? You're trying to get me in lots of trouble.
Is that an Eddie question?
My husband's going to say no. He's saying don't pick a favorite. So I won't pick a favorite. But you know, I will in general tell you that we love to eat, and we love to break bread, tortillas, and everything else that we can do. The food continues to get awesome all across town, and you're close to the Pearl. The Pearl, if you can, the per capita people that come to the Pearl is tremendous. But the number of restaurants that are there, the number of restaurants all across town, I will give a shout out to, you know, don't just think about downtown. There's a restaurant called Clementine's that is fairly new and tiny and small, that is doing amazing things as well, a husband and wife that we know, Elise and John. I'll tell you that downtown on the river, we like to eat. So I will put it back on my team. As you run into CPS Energy people, let them tell you exactly where to go. But we have tremendously wonderful chefs that you can go just about anywhere and have a great meal.
All right, thank you, Paula. With that, thank you so much. Welcome to City of the
Thank
Future.
you all for coming. We're going to have fun.